Hey, let's talk about creativity. I think it's a fascinating subject. What is creativity? As defined by Cambridge Dictionary, it's the ability to produce or use original and unusual ideas. You know, I'm a passionate amateur photographer. Being an amateur means that I'm here not for the money, but for the love of the game. Amateur amour. And then being passionate means that I probably take photography more seriously than many professionals do. As for my profession, I'm a software engineer, software scientist, software executive. I got a PhD in software engineering. I'm a professor of software engineering. And it's been a field that has given me a possibility to be creative. I've always been the guy who initiates things, gets things off the ground, builds new stuff, makes more mistakes than anybody else. And then when things settle and get normalized, I easily get bored and want to move on to the next new thing. Photography, on the other hand, that's a new discovery to me. I started to take it more seriously only like maybe 6 years ago. So now an interesting question for me, being over 60, is that can I break into a totally new field at my age and still be creative, create new? No, is it too late for me? So I set up a little research project of my own, went through some literature and science, trying to understand this creativity at my age a bit better. I put a lot of these links and information into the description page if you want to follow my path of research, but let's go through some of the highlights here. So first I asked the question, at which age are we most creative? And there's strong evidence that that's around the age of 30, and then it declines after that. We lose some of our creativity. Now, why does that happen? That's where the science is not conclusive. Some sources say that it's because our brain loses some of its fluidity and flexibility. So it's a physiological thing. But then some other sources say that that should be easily compensated by the knowledge and skills that we accumulate over the years. And we should actually be more creative at a later age. And sure enough, there's a lot of evidence that shows that people can maintain their creativity, even increase it as they age. Then I wanted to go one step further and investigate if there's evidence of people breaking into a totally new field, like what I'm doing with photography at my age, and still be creative in this new field. And once again, there's a lot of evidence that that can happen, and it happens all the time. So as a summary, even though creativity seems to peak at around 30, it doesn't need to happen that way, and we can actually increase our creativity as we age. So then I wanted to understand a bit better, why would our creativity decline if that is not a physiological necessity? What are the reasons for that decline? And I created a hypothesis. A hypothesis is a kind of a scientific method to claim something, throw out an idea, a thought. It doesn't need to be based on anything but your own experience, and can be just a lucky guess. But then you need to go and prove your hypothesis either right or wrong based on the evidence. And that's exactly what I wanted to do. So my hypothesis here is now that the decline in creativity as we age is caused mainly by the social structures around us. So here I claim that it's not because our brains lose some capacity, but it's just the structures around us. And here is my thinking. As we are under 30, everything around us supports our creativity and exploration. We go to a college and then we are shown a lot of new things and introduced a lot of new fields. We are expected to learn new stuff. We venture to unknown. We try to find a life partner. We are expected to do that. We are expected to try new sports, play in the rock and roll band, go and do some crazy new stuff. Everything around us says, go and explore. Now it's the time to find yourself. Then as we age, things start to change. And everything around us says, stop fooling around. You got responsibilities. Pay your mortgage, pay your bills, support your family, build a career. So every structure, every social context around us that earlier supported the exploration and creativity now calls for you being an adult. And then my hypothesis says that that is the main reason why we lose creativity as we age. And sure enough, there's plenty of evidence that supports my hypothesis, to the extent that I conclude that the social structures are one of the main, if not the main reason for a possible decline in our creativity. So then comes a really interesting thing. Is there anything we can do about it? Could we even turn it around and use social structures to support our creativity at my age? And now, this is no longer science. Now, this is my own thinking from now on to the end of the video. I claim that there are two ways we can look at the social structures around us. Some of them can dampen down and limit our creativity, but the social structures can also help our creativity and support it. So those social networks that tell us, don't create, calm down, do what you are expected to do, we can fight them. Recognize them, ignore them, and fight them. Go crazy. Do stuff that is not expected. Be a software executive who makes these crazy videos. Give yourself an explicit permission to go against the expectations of society and people around you. Don't listen to them who say that, yeah, nice pictures, but don't quit your day job. Go and do the unthinkable. Be creative. Fight against those social structures that put you down and limit your creativity. But then, can we use social structures to help us? Like, I have an enormous social network around me that supports my creativity in my profession, in software. And that's because I've been building that for the last 35 years. I can pick up a phone and call anybody in Silicon Valley and get a comment on my software idea. If I want to set up a new software company, high-tech company for a new product, I know who to call to possibly get money to get it off the ground. If I want to start a new research project, I know who to call because I have this huge network that I built over the years. I have none of that for photography. as I only started recently, I do not know any gallery owners, any publishers. I don't know a lot of photographers. I don't know the system. I don't know the people. But I would need those to be really creative and get my work out there. So what can I do? I probably need to now use all my life skills and experience of building these networks in another context, mostly high-tech and software, and use them now to build the same supportive networks in photography. And I'm in a hurry because, I don't have 35, 40 years to build that anymore. I won't be on this planet at that point. So now I need to be creative also in building my network. And now, if this all sounds too complicated, there's one more way to stay and increase your creativity at my age. And it's to do Vivian Myers. All her network thought that she was a nurse, but she actually was one of the most influential photographers of our time. But she didn't tell anybody, she kept it to herself, and her work was found only after her death. So then of course there is this possibility that you maintain your creativity, you even increase it, but you don't tell to anybody and you totally ignore all the structures around it. You enjoy the ride, you do it for yourself. And that's also a very compelling idea. Now, as a summary, what's positive about all my investigations and studies is that there is nothing fundamental that would prevent me from being creative and even increase my creativity at my age. But it might require some explicit work, fight against the bad social structures, find the new structures that help me, or then just totally ignoring this all and just enjoying photography. And on that bombshell, it's good to end. Thanks for watching. Next time, something else.